volunteer power right there. I mean, and that's what I'll kind of start out with, just saying that you're basically what makes a membership campaign run. All volunteers online, volunteers here in this room, you're what powers scouting. You're what makes scouting happen in your community. You're what makes scouting happen in our country, and in the Simon Kinton Council. We couldn't do it without you. And that's one of the things that is a staff of right around 28 or just under 30 people that covers 19 counties. We know that more than ever right now. We're very much so, we acknowledge the fact that without you, we're gonna be on the struggle bus. We need every single person that's involved in scouting to be moving in the same direction, which is toward growth, to get scouting back to where it was in 2019 and then keep growing from there. I'd also note too, this fall recruitment isn't just about Cub Scouts. And what I mean by that is yeah, we focus probably 99% of our energy on Cub Scout recruitment, but I was out at day camp last week. I was walking around taking a tour, and I noticed very clearly that we had this big group of Webelos Scouts and Arrow of Light Future Arrow Lights. We had this big group of Lions and Tigers, and we had this chunk of kids at the wolf and bear level that was kind of small. There wasn't very many of them, and that's coming up the pipeline for our troops. We need our troops' number one resource or source of future Scouts BSA participants is our Cub Scout packs. We need troops involved with our Cub Scout recruitment in those schools that Barb was talking about that don't have packs. We need troops helping use relationships and using their knowledge of what it takes to run a pack to help our packs grow in every level, so that when you 2-3 years from now are looking for those Weeblo Scouts to cross over into your troop, that you have a great relationship with the packs around your area, and that those packs are full, those dens are full, that those kids are crossing over into your Scouts BSA troop, so that your troop stays strong. You're going to have a great program. So recruitment's about everybody. It's not just about Cub Scouts. It's about the future health of our organization and the future health of our troops, and just making sure that scouting is stronger than ever. So, and that's really what I want to note is we want to empower you to grow. I think, again, I've worked for the Boy Scouts for about 12 years, and that word is really meaningful to me, that word empowered. I've learned about, I can't even count how many times that I don't know the answer every time. I don't always know the answer. I know the answers quite a few times, but there's lots of times when I've been proven wrong, when I don't have the best idea in the room. And we want you to, if you have a great idea, share it. If you have a great plan, share it. If you have the ability to recruit 100 Cub Scouts, do it. Don't wait for permission. Find creative ways to get engaged in the community, new pipelines of people to recruit from. Get energized about recruiting and growing your pack. And this is a plan, but if you got some great ideas and have some great connections, use them. Do everything in our plan, but don't be afraid to think outside the box and do something really creative. Okay, so next, it's pretty much the synopsis of our recruitment plan. So the goal is to conduct a registration night through all prepared packs at every single elementary school within the boundaries of the Polaris district. We did the district train. I don't think I changed that one. I apologize. But throughout the Simon Kinton Council. So every district in the council, our goal is to be in every elementary school. You may ask, well, why? Why do you have to be in every elementary school, Ben? What if we don't have a pack at that elementary school? Is that a good idea to recruit there? We need to figure out a way to associate it with the pack with that school. We need to figure out a way to make sure every kid and every youth inside the entire council boundaries has an opportunity to join scouting. I mean, every kid's going to join. Not every scout and every family is going to participate in scouting. We know that. But not giving a kid a chance to join this program is really, really hits my heart. I never got to join scouting as a kid. I never had the opportunity. I think I was invited one time to participate, and it wasn't by someone walking into my school and dropping a flyer off. It was through one of my friends inviting me to participate, which we'll talk a little bit about later. But every kid deserves a chance, and every family deserves a chance to participate in scouting. So what's the timeline? When are we starting this whole thing, and how long does it go to? It goes now, so we're starting right now. Kind of already needed to be starting through all the way through the end of the year. And I'd even argue recruiting happens all year long. There's never a bad time to get someone involved in Cub Scouts or scouting in general. So learn our plan, get the word out, grow your pack and have fun. And grow your unit. Every time you grow, you're gonna have a little bit chance for a better chance to have a lot more fun, have more leaders, and have have a wonderful experience for your scouts and your kids. So some new things for 2022. So we're going to be doing a mailing next month to dropped scouts. So we have a list of thousands of scouts that dropped in 2019, or excuse me, that dropped from 2019 to 2020. So during the middle of the pandemic, they dropped out of scouting. And then we even had another group of scouts from 2020 to 2021 that fell off the program. And one of the things that we need to do, it's essential that we do, is make sure that those scouts know that even though their pack, they folded, stopped having meetings for a period of time, or their troop for that matter, maybe their troop folded or troop stopped having meetings for a period of time that were normal, that scouting's still out there. Scouting can still happen for them. Just because there's a hiatus for a little while doesn't mean that they can't get back into the program. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use the beascout.org website as much as possible and get the word out through a postcard, through emails to people that have dropped that we have, and really try to let them know, hey, there's still a place for in scouting. Just because there's not a pack at your school doesn't mean you can't join a pack in your neighborhood or your town. Just because your troop folded doesn't mean you can't continue on your scouting journey and try to get the Eagle. There's opportunities out there. It may not yield thousands of kids coming back to the program, but if it's just one kid per pack that's back in a pack, or one kid in a troop that comes back and gets the Eagle, it's worth it. So we got to do it, try to give kids an opportunity. Another thing, for those of you that weren't able to get into the meeting earlier, or maybe they're part of a pack that isn't a pack that has boy and girl dens, one of the things we're going to be doing this fall, if you do the memorandum of understanding and commit to doing it, is having a mixed boy and girl den. Again, we want to make sure that everyone gets that training before they actually do that. So if you missed the training and you want to do it, we're going to offer that training at some roundtables in the near future. We're going to be recording it, but we really prefer to get some of that training in person and really be able to ask questions or make sure they feel like they're ready to do it. So any questions about either of these things? I'll answer any of the online questions at the end. So, or if somebody can answer them online, if they know the answer, feel free to answer. All right. So next thing, we want to make sure that kids feel like they're getting a great program, and as soon as they walk through the door of a Cub Scout pack, that they feel like we're delivering the promise of scouting. And so part of the delivering the promise is having a fun activity that scouts can do right when they join. And not only that, it's kind of cool to be able to have an incentive item for joining and getting excited about joining Cub Scouts. So this year our incentive item is rockets. We have the rockets about, I don't know, 100 feet away from us and down the hallway here for distribution. They'll be given out to every paid membership that's completed, whether it's online or paper. We're basically going to take membership statistics from where we end this month, and from going forward between now and really the end of the year, we're going to count for each pack how many kids are recruited and registered, and then we'll be giving you the rockets to distribute to your scouts. We also have launch pads available that you can reserve as a pack, and we have those as well, or you can purchase them for less than $20 online. So if you want to have your own launch pad, you can. And then also, we want to encourage packs to do a launch party. If you can't do a launch party as a pack, your calendar's kind of already set, we're going to be having launch pads out at things like Shootery or Monster Mash and other district activities, so kids can come and launch their rockets. Also, we've had a few packs inquire already from our first training we did in the Polaris district was, hey, what if we want to get rockets for the rest of our pack? What if we want to do a launch party for everybody? You can totally do that. You can purchase them right now. And this information, again, is on here, so you can get them through the Scout shop downstairs for the same price that we purchased them from wholesale, except unless you're going to buy a handful of rockets. If you're not buying them in packs of like 25 and the engines in packs of 24, you're going to have to purchase them at retail price. But you can either do them online at scoutshop.org, and I've got the reference numbers on there, the item numbers, so you can look them right up and make sure you're getting the same rockets for every kid, every scout, excuse me. Yes, question? When the kid gets the rocket, we have a launch party. Right, so as soon as the rockets are processed, we'll be working through your district executive and membership team to make sure that we get you the rockets. So basically, if the night of the event of your sign-up night, you have 15 kids come, 10 of them sign up, the other 5 decide they're going to wait and figure out what's going on. Once those membership applications are processed, they're done online or through paper, we'll coordinate through your district executive, commissioner, through me if necessary, if you haven't gotten them in the time you need them, to get the rockets in your hands so you can give them out at your next orientation meeting or our next den meeting so that the kids have them.
We're gonna bring it back to the
Correct. We'll try to organize a time either for you to pick them up here or us to get to you to make sure you get the rockets in kids' hands in a timely manner. So I know the question was raised in Polaris District when we did the training there was, well, can you just give us an allotment of rockets and we'll just hand back in whatever's left? Our number one concern is make sure any kid that actually signs up gets a rocket. The number one way we can do that is to make sure that every kid that signs up gets a rocket, not necessarily every kid that comes to sign up night gets a rocket. That makes sense. So we're trying to make sure we're doing the best we can to be very responsible stewards of council resources, to make sure we don't give all of our rockets away and then not have enough for all the kids that actually sign up. I honestly don't know the question that I can look it up. Okay. So I was gonna say, I'd love to say that I mean, if Jeff said yes, that you don't need one, I trust that you don't need a range master. I've never had one in the past, but when we've done it, I know that it's always been at an event where we have somebody along those lines, but I'm pretty sure it's like more like a STEM activity than like a shooting sports type activity. Okay, so next thing, planning and preparation for your recruitment. So one thing you should do as a pack, or really any unit for that matter, is try to have a membership coordinator committee. So try to find a group of people other than maybe your Cub Master to do this effort. Having somebody who's focused on this and spending their time on preparing your pack and getting everything in line and kind of line up the dates for everything going on with your schools, very, very important. So for example, school scheduling, if you're a Cub Master and you're trying to plan your whole fall program, having to schedule school in the middle of it and trying to schedule a school talk and reserve your flyers and everything else that you do, it's very important that you have somebody to help you do that. And so it's not all on you. So recruiting somebody, maybe it's somebody who, let's say, they're not a den leader, they're not doing something all year long, but they're really organized. This is a perfect position where it's a pretty much allotted amount of time where they're going to be doing something from right now until so you have a really good sign-up night till then is maybe August or September. And it's a great position for somebody who's like, I can't do a meeting every week. I can't do a meeting every month for that matter, but they can do this for a really short amount of time. And especially if they're someone who's active on social media or engaged with the school that you recruit from, can be a big deal. So, so again, things you got to do, schedule your school night. We think the ideal window for that is 2 to 3 weeks after school started. And we don't specifically cite a date line on this because some schools start later than others. But the key is you don't want to do it so late and after the school year started that you've already had a bunch of kids sign up for a bunch of other activities. You also don't want to do it so early that you can't get flyers out and really communicate about it. So that sweet spot's about 2 weeks to 3 weeks into school starting, especially if your school's done a back to school night, which is mentioned here. You can have a table there, promote it there, even sign kids up there if you want to. If they're there and they want to sign up, say don't let them leave and say come back later to our school night. Get them, figure out a way to get them part of your pack, have them join. And then making sure your flyer request is in. This flyer link is up at skcscouts.org/membership. Again, if that flyer link is really important because we'll produce flyers for you so you can get them, distribute them to the schools you recruit at or the school you recruit at. And we do that here in-house so that you don't have to spend all your time printing your own flyers. They're really nice flyers. And they have a lot of great information on them to make sure that we represent your pack as best as we can. So last thing I'll mention, school talks. We're gonna have a sample school talk with some kids that are doing a school talk at the very end. We'll watch a video about it. But school talks are extremely important, especially for the age demographic that we really recruit the most Cub Scouts from. Tends to be kindergarten and first grade. The flyer doesn't mean anything to them. The flyer doesn't even make it home all the time. So one of the things we have is we have these stickers that we can print directly onto to put your date, time, location of your sign-up night. I know, so I have 4 children. My 10-year-old doesn't remember what's going on. I know he didn't remember what was going on in his life when he was 6 or 5. But he would remember if somebody cool came in, talked about shooting BB guns, doing archery, going on hikes, going swimming and going fishing, and put a sticker on him and said, show it to your parents. You can do all that cool stuff. You would remember that. So this is really important. So if you can get access to your school to do a talk, or even if you can't get access, but you can have a scout do it, that's even better. Sometimes if you have a fifth grader that can go in the lunchroom, you get these stickers with a little invitation on them. This is a really key part. You have to be able to fill that out in the flyer in order to get the custom stickers though. So that form is really important that you see up on the screen. Clicking that on and filling it out so that we have the data. We can produce the stickers for you, get them in your hands so you can have right on the stickers, join Cub Scouts, August 15th at Lincoln Elementary School, 6 p.m. And it has a phone number at the bottom. And yes, it does fit on these as well. We tested them. I stuck all the staff with them to make sure that they knew that they worked.
Same link as the flyer
Yes.
request?
So the flyer request and the Scout Talk request are on the same link. So you don't have to go to two different places. You can get, if you get your Scout Talk lined up, it's in the same spot. So it's on skcscouts.org/membership. And it's also the emails you received is on there. And then, like I said, I'm going to try to put a package together of a bunch of different stuff to anyone who attended the training so that I can send out any supplemental materials. If you haven't yet, either your district executive should be contacting you over and over again until you fill out the flyer request form and get it to them so that we can make sure we get your flyers in a timely manner. So, great. Next, this is probably the biggest thing that I would say that we did a training last year. It was about a half-a-day training. I don't think we spent enough time on this part of the training, in my opinion. This to me, in a time when not everyone knows what scouting is going on in scouting, when sometimes the only thing someone knows about scouting is what they hear on cable news channels, or they read in a national newspaper. This is a very, very, very powerful thing for us. We need to get the word out. We need to get scouting story out. That is imperative for a Cub Scout aged mom, for a grandparent in a rural area, whatever it might be. Figuring out a way to let them know that scouting's happening in a community near them, and letting them know at least 7 ways that the scouting recruitment night is coming up very, very soon is extremely important. We need to make sure, again, this is like marketing 101. I don't know how many of you scrolled through your Facebook page before, but after about the 10th time you saw an ad, you're either going to say, I don't want to see this ad anymore, or you might click it, or you might pay attention to it. At least it's ingrained in your mind. So we need to find out as many ways as possible to get the word out. There is no silver bullet. Just because you have Scout Talks in your school doesn't mean you're going to recruit a bunch of kids. We need to have Scout Talks. We need to have all these different things. I'm not going to read every one of them off. I am going to focus on 2 different specific things I do think that could be powerful for us in our recruitment efforts. You're also, for those that are here, you're going to be receiving some of these things tonight. Posters and yard signs are available downstairs that we're going to be handing out to all the participants here this evening. We're going to be handing them out at roundtables, and we'll make sure everybody who covers the school is going to have at least 2 yard signs and at least 2 posters so that they can get them up in the community. But where you can find all these resources is very simple. I'm not going to click out of it because I know we won't be able to get back in the presentation, but I'll try to show it at the very end. There's a website called scoutingwire.org. There's a thing called the Marketing Hub. At the very end of the training, I'll try to hand out some of these materials that I've shown tonight so you guys can see them and see what they look like. But it's very important that we do use these materials and try to use them to the best of our ability. So some of these materials include things like postcards. They include social media graphics. They include bookmarks. Again, all these can be printed at your home on cardstock. I did it. You can print things like posters if you want. If you don't like the posters we produce and you want a bigger poster, like you can make a bigger poster. All these graphics are free. They've been produced by National BSA. They'll have this #adventure on them. Some of our materials are mixed year, so we've kind of matched our materials up the best we could. But all these are available online. You can print them. If you say, hey, I don't know if I can, I've got the budget to print them, we'll gladly work with you to try to figure out a way to get you what you need to be successful. So these are a bunch of cool materials that are available online, and just please use them. Next thing, I want to talk about the power of social media, and specifically the power of personal testimonials and invitations. The example I want to use is my wife. So my wife is 34 years old. We have 4 kids. We got a 12-year-old, 10-year-old, 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And what I'm going to tell you is that if I see an ad or pull a coupon out of a booklet or tell my wife in general, I think we should go to this restaurant. I saw this cool ad for it. She doesn't care. What I'll tell you is my wife is on Instagram and her friend takes a picture of the food at the restaurant and says, this was the best food I've ever had. It was so great going out with my husband to this restaurant. She wants to go to that restaurant because her friend, her personal testimonial, her personal endorsement of that restaurant makes the difference in why she wants to participate in going to that restaurant. I firmly believe the same is true when it comes to activities for kids. When someone you trust and someone you think you consider a friend says, I think that it'd be amazing if our sons were in the same den together and got to go to day camp together, you better bet there's no better recruitment effort and no better way to get someone involved in scouting. There is nothing more powerful than a personal invitation, whether it's from a scout to a prospective scout or from a family to another family saying, we want our youth, we want our sons or daughters to participate in this together. Not only because we think it'd be great for your family, but because we think our family would have a better time doing it together as a family with you guys. So this graphic's available online too. This graphic, I think, is pretty powerful. It's just ask me about scouting, and it's an open invitation for someone to say, hey, yeah, I saw you posted that thing about scouting, or I saw the sign that you guys had up about asking me about scouting. This is powerful. It's more powerful than a poster. It's more powerful than an ad. It's more powerful than a flyer in a school. It's meaningful. It's personal. So what I stress is find a way to encourage your unit to come up with, hey, what's your favorite scouting story? What is the best way what's your best experience in scouting? Post it on Facebook. Let people know that you can join scouting. Think about if you have 40 families in your pack and all 40 of them posted within 2 days before your event to all their friends on Facebook and said, hey, come try it out. My son last summer had the best experience of his life at day camp. He had a bullseye. He went on a hike. He caught a fish. That's really powerful. But the only way it's going to happen is if you mobilize people to do it and you make it part of what you're going to do as a campaign. Talking about it's one thing, but actually getting your pack to participate in that kind of a process can be really powerful and really help grow your pack. The next thing, again, back to the peer-to-peer recruitment. I think this is the most I think it's the most powerful thing we can do. The one time I was invited, I really wanted to join when I was a youth, and I was already in too many things. My parents told me I couldn't join, but my friend asking me to come to Cub Scouts with them, I really wanted to do it because I really wanted to do it with my friend. It's a big deal. So every scout and their family is a recruitment tool. Every one of them has the ability to get more kids involved in scouting. So I encourage you to challenge every family to think about at least one family that can ask, maybe more, and challenge them to invite a friend. So invite cards. Again, these are located at the Scouting Wire Marketing Hub. I've got a batch of them in my office that I'll be sharing with you guys after the meeting. Also, again, it's already online. You can produce them yourself, sign cardstock, they're front and back. You can have on there things like the details of when the next meeting is, information about leaders. They're very customizable. There's like 4 or 5 different types of invite cards. They're basically personal invitations to come to a meeting. Also, this is a great method for us if you have little or no access at schools. Let's say the school says, we only do peach jar, you can't come and do a talk, and no signs. We don't let anyone do signs. Guess what? I'd be willing to bet if one of your scouts brought 10 invite cards to class and invited 10 people to class or their friends at lunchtime, or invited friends from church or invited friends around the neighborhood to join, that'd be, again, more impactful, if not as impactful as us sending 5,000 flyers to the school over a 2-week period. That's a really important ask, and this is a cool opportunity we have to try to recruit kids in a meaningful way. And hey, even if it's not necessarily a personal invitation, if you're at a parade, if you're at a school open house, you print 20 sheets of these, have all the information in the back, get somebody with a cutter to cut them all out, and all of a sudden you've given out a bunch of invitations to people with information about when your next sign-up night is. Marketing is powerful, it's important, especially when we were leaning for the last 100 years on the fact that everybody knew what scouting was. Everybody was in scouting as a kid. Every dad did Cub Scouts. We're in a different place now. We have to come to the terms with the fact that we have to tell our story. Yeah, that's the only way we're gonna move forward and grow. So Again, these are available online, and also I can show you some after the meeting. So next, we're going to talk about this right after we get done with the kind of the main meat of our PowerPoint. But we have the 4-station model, and we're going to go through the stations. Those that are online, we're going to go to the next room, and like trusty cameraman Chaz Kennewell is going to go through all the different stations, and we're going to go through as a group, kind of showing you how you can set up your 4-station model. But you have a welcome sign-in sheet with a QR code. That's something new this year. We're going to have a QR code for you so that people can click the QR code, do the sign in right there and sign in. And then you will have within a day or two of after your sign up night, your district executive or our registrar is going to send you a list of all the people that have signed in an Excel spreadsheet. So you have their email, their phone number, their contact information, and if you're doing multiple schools, what school they're from, all in a spreadsheet. So you can contact them along with us to make sure that if there's anyone who didn't sign up, we have their contact information, we follow up, make sure that they continue in scouting. Station 2 is what we do, and we're going to see it in the next room after we're done with this section. Sign up, we've got to try to use our electronic resources as much as possible. So having tablets, computers there so people can sign up is really important. And then finally, you check out and you have your Q&A and leadership, and make sure that anyone who's leaving knows when's the next meeting, who's my den leader. You don't go to a sign-up night. I'll stress a couple of things. One, you don't go to a sign-up night and not sign up. That's the number one thing that I've been, again, doing this for 12 years. It's probably the number one disappointment in my career over and over and over again is having people come to a sign-up night and having them all leave with an application, being told, this was the sign-up. I had the sign-up night poster up. We had the flyers out. We had the yard sign out. We promoted in the newspaper. We promoted in the school newsletter. Come sign up on September 20th. We had you come. We gave you an application. We said, come to the next meeting and sign up then. I would say probably this happened to me. Just so you know, when I came to Pickerington, I live in Etna now, but I lived in Pickerington. I had that experience. My first sign-up night that I went to in the Simon Kidden Council with my son, we walked through the door. It was during COVID, so it was kind of weird. We all had masks on. We walked through the door. We were given an application, and they said, come back to our meeting in 2 weeks, fill this out, and bring it back. There's about 20 of us there. I came back to the next meeting. There's 2 of us there the next meeting that came to sign up. We went from 20 kids wanting to sign up and 20 families that wanted to sign up to 2 by just not having us all sign up when we came. So please focus on sign them up. That's why they came. Okay, QR code. This will be in another room. Everyone will have a packet as well, where inside your packet, there's a QR code for signing in to your sign up night and a QR code for signing up. So getting to beascout.org and signing up. You can produce your own QR code for your pack through your PIN as well. We're not going to go through step by step. If you have questions about how to do that, we're more than willing to sit down with you or have one of our representatives sit down with you and learn how to make your own PAC's QR code so you can get them to beascout.org and sign up for your PAC directly. But this QR code specifically for signing in to your sign up nights to make sure that we have a list. And again, it's organized. It's not a scribbled mess and there's like lines all over the place and you don't know what the email address says, so you never know how to contact them. We want to make sure we have good data so that we can follow up with these families. Every PAC in the council can use this QR code. It designates on that when they go to sign in, they have to say what school they're from. They have to say what PAC they're signing in with. So we'll be able to, and it's required to enter that data when they sign in. So we'll be able to track and get you a list of who's signed in. We also have, very aware that all of our accounts, so there's people that say, I don't have internet access. We have horrible Wi-Fi. I don't know what we're going to do with this whole QR code thing. We have paper sign-in sheets available. And what I'll just say is my kids have all signed up for band, choir, football, soccer, baseball. I've never signed a sheet of paper the entire time that I've done that for the last 5 years, except for in scouting where I filled out an application. It's the only place I've had to fill out an application, a paper application in the last 5 years with my kids. I think I had to sign something saying that my kid got a concussion or something like that. I wasn't going to hold them liable, but I mean, other than that, everything's online. People are used to going on their phone and signing up. So just gotta get with the times. So, all right, following school signups. We need to clear up issues with any defective applications. We need to make sure we approve any of your online applications as well. Make sure that they go into my.scouting and you look at your queued if there's kids that families that have inquired about joining and leads, and that anyone who's filled out the application, that we have that done. We need to make sure that we review your performance against last year. This is a big deal. We want to make sure we grow scouting. And I know a lot of times throughout my career, I've had people say, well, Ben, all you care about is numbers. All you care about is making sure that we have 1,000 kids instead of 900 kids. Heck yeah, that's what I care about the most. I care about that every single kid gets to join scouting. I hope you guys do too. I know our staff does. I know our staff is passionate. I know our membership team at the council level and at the district level is passionate about getting more kids in this program. We need more scouts, and you're the team that's going to make it happen. Everybody online, you're the ones that are going to make scouting grow and make families grow and have a better experience in life. Communities have a better. You're going to make our country better through having more families involved in scouting. It's a big deal. So yeah, we want to grow. We want to make sure we have more kids than we did last year and more kids than we do in 2019. Identify additional sign-up opportunities. Every PAC meeting you have throughout the fall is an opportunity for a kid to come to join Scouts. Don't just say, well, we did our sign-up night and no one else can join. It's kind of sad when you think about it. What if they couldn't make it that night? What if they just wanted to join anytime? I mean, there's no season for scouting. You can join scouting anytime you want. There's no scouting season. You got to do what's best for a family, getting kids involved in the program anytime that works best for them. Again, following up with that sign-in materials, making sure that if anybody signed in and didn't sign up, we get an email to them, invite them to the next meeting, or figure out what the deal is. So it could be, again, my family might have been in a situation as a kid where we would have came to sign up. Someone would have said, hey, the dues are $150. My parents might have had to take a step back and think, hey, man, can we afford $150 right now? We got to figure this out. So there could be families that sign in but don't sign up that night. It's great to have that conversation that night and figure out a plan to make sure that the resources are necessary for that family. But there are scholarships available. Those forms are inside your packets as well. And we'll make sure that any kid that wants to join scouting, we have the resources necessary to help them join and don't have any barriers for them. And then make sure that there's an onboarding process. Make sure that they know when the next meeting is, they know what their den leader is, and when they're going to come back. You don't leave the first soccer sign up without knowing when your first practice is. You might get asked to coach, but you at least know when you're coming back again. So same way, we might need somebody to be a leader, but they know when the next meeting is. So don't just say, well, until we figure out the leaders, we'll contact you when we figure it out later. So know when your next meeting is and make sure they know when it is. And then we got a list of council activities that's available as part of your packet as well. And downstairs, we got a bunch of sheets about what can happen in the council throughout the fall. I highly suggest trying to interweave those council activities in your PAC's program plan so that you have a mix of fun PAC activities and also do the council stuff so that you can see how cool the council is. There's lots of stuff at Camp Lazarus like Shootery and Monster Mash. Those are great.
Monster Mash this year?
Yes.
Okay.
So yes, those are
awesome. Seen on the calendar yet. That's usually something we do. So.
Got a date on the sheet for it. So,
okay.
But yeah, those are great opportunities not only to bring your new scouts to them, but also encourage maybe some friends to come. Those are both activities prospective members can participate in them. It's an opportunity to join. And then lastly, do a popcorn kickoff. Pay for your program. Plan an amazing program. New scouts tend to be first graders, kindergartners, second graders. They also tend to be the ones that when they walk up to the door, as long as they know that they'll hold the paper out and say, this is my favorite kind, will you please buy it? They usually have pretty great results. Get them selling popcorn. You'll find that your PACS program will flourish when you have the resources necessary to do it. And new scouts are excited about selling. It's not their 5th year of doing it. They really want to sell. They want to pay for their program and make it a really fun year of scouting. The main things. So, and I could have probably just done this as a presentation. I think Chaz even told me that, or James or somebody said, hey, just do that one slide and we can probably get done with this pretty quickly. But so schedule your sign-up night. Make sure that that's ready to go and get your requests in for flyers. Attend back to school nights. If you cover 2 schools, try to find, and they're on the same night, try to figure out a way to get to both back to school nights. Even if there's just one parent from your school, print off some of those invitation cards, print off some half sheeters to get people to be aware that there's Cub Scouting at that school. If your PAC covers multiple schools and you're not meeting at that school, knowing that there's a presence there is huge. And they might not know unless you go to that open house night or that return to school night. Promote your sign up night at least 7 ways. So get out there 7 times. be creative. Barb and the Frontier team posted a video yesterday of 2 scouts that are awesome scouters, got on the radio in Frontier District and talked about their scouting experience. They're getting to come back each month during the fall to talk about what they're doing in scouting. Be creative. Don't put boundaries on what you can do. Don't just say, well, we always do flyers and we always do a talk. And get a billboard, make a banner, be in a parade, do whatever you can to get the word out that you can join scouting. This is one, I think I've said it now for the 5th time. Every youth that attends has to be signed up. Don't let them leave without at least an explanation of why they're not signing up. They came to sign up. That's why they're there. They want to join scouting. Approve the applications that night. Make sure they know where they're supposed to go the next meeting and who their leader is. Have an orientation, the popcorn kickoff, and grow your unit. You're going to have way more fun if you grow your unit. It's going to be a lot better. You're going to have more leaders, more fun, and you're going to have an awesome scouting experience. So with that, we're going to have a couple other sections. Like I said, we're going to go and spend some time in the next room over to do a sign-up night. But from right now, we're going to take some time to do some Q&A because I've talked a whole lot, and it'd be great to have a break of talking. I'm already losing my voice. So any questions so far on things that are going on?
Real quick, can they put, or is it a best practice to have the cost scouting on the flyer?
So Chaz asked the question, is it the best practice to have the cost directly on your flyer? We do not typically put the cost of scouting directly on the flyer, primarily because we might put something like the initial costs on there, but we don't typically put like all of your PAC's dues, every single dime of what's going on to your flyer. That's typically something you discuss at the meeting or at your orientation meeting. I know of PACs that will have a policy of doing something along the lines of saying, we have them pay the membership fee. We don't have them pay dues initially, then we have them pay dues at recharter time so that we have the kind of a fair process where they join. Everyone pays their dues at the same time. They don't feel like they're getting nickeled and dimed where they pay dues twice basically as soon as they join. Ultimately, it's your PAC's prerogative to set a policy that works best for you. We have national dues that have to be paid. We have council kind of dues and program fees that we have rolled into that as well. And your PAC has its dues in order to maintain your program that I would say try to supplement as heavily as you can with popcorn sales. But being open and honest about the fees is really important. We don't typically publish all those fees on the back of a flyer though. So I'll also note that we had this conversation about 20 times last year when we talked about our program fees and we talked about national fees fluctuating and changing. Scouting is still amazing value. It is the best value out there. I can tell you I've spent thousands of dollars on my daughter's band and my son's sports. There's no better value than scouting. You can't get a more impactful program that'll stick with you the rest of your life and stick with your family forever than scouting. So it's a bargain. So.
Sorry. I saw 2 QR codes presented up there. Can you briefly explain the difference between them?
So there's 2 QR codes. There's a QR code for the sign-in sheet. So as soon as you walk in the door, you can do the QR code where you sign in, and it's very simple questions like what school you're at, what PAC are you looking at joining, what's your name, what's your phone number, what's your email address, and what's your scout's name. That's a sign-in sheet. That's not signing up. We'd all know that it requires more information than that in order to sign up. There's another QR code inside of your packet that's available when you actually get to the station where you go to the sign up station where you can do a QR code, sign up on your phone, or what we recommend is also having some tablets and laptops there where you can put those out and have an opportunity to have that already up for people so they don't have to worry about doing the QR code and doing it. So you can have almost like a computer lab kind of set up right in front of you where you can kind of sign up right there on the spot. It is the most seamless portion of signing up online is much easier than doing the paper copies in terms of getting them in the system, getting the right information. It does not allow you to fill out the application and miss a spot. It won't let you click submit unless you've done all the required boxes. We've all experienced that when we sign up for other things. So if I count all the hours of my life that were spent chasing down people to find a signature of a Tiger Cub parent that forgot to sign, they were going to be willing to be a Tiger Cub parent, I would have a year of my life back probably trying to find people to get their signature, missing birth date or something like that. The computer does it for us. It cleans it up before they even submit it. So it's a much easier way for us to do signups and they get in your system right away. Yeah.
Plus, after one overnight cycle, that didn't show up in the scout book.
So what James said, after one cycle of them signing up, they will show up in your scout book after being signed up online, you approving them, and then you'll have their contact information and they'll be in scout book. So you can, your next text message from scout book or your next email or your next calendar update, they'll get it. They're already in the system. That's not, I know we take pride in what we do here at the office. That is not our turnaround time for us here. So it's a much, we advocate for you to do online signups. It's a great process. So.
That's just the national fee they're paying, correct?
No, we have our fee in that
Their
as
fee
well.
is in there
Yep,
too.
correct. So, yeah, so the question was, is it just the national fee that's in the online sign up? That is not true. It's not true. That is not the case. Both the national fee and the council's program support fee are in that fee structure for when you sign up online. So. Any other questions or things I've missed in the chat? Yes.
What if you had elementary schools that are same names? Did you say that you would send the units?
Yes. So same name elementary schools, we probably got like 8 of them in the council. But one thing we do have is we don't have the same PAC number covering those schools. So that's how we would delineate the difference. So it's required in order to actually finish the sign in, you have to actually like. Yeah, so if there's a mistake, we'd have an outlier. We debated initially of trying to figure out how to have an individual Google sheet for every single PAC in the entire council. I mean, we didn't do that. So we want them all in one place. And we'd be able to. Also, the other element is most PACs have sign-up nights on different nights. In each school, we are tracking when the sign-up nights happen and when the flyers go out. So we'll be able to delineate when the sign-up happened and what school they actually signed in. Correct. And that's, again, I'll circle, that's a great question. So you may ask, well, why don't we do our sign up night at where our PAC meets? And I'll ask yourself to put yourself in a situation right now. So here's a question. Pretend you are a 25-year-old mom who has their first daughter in school or son in school in kindergarten, and you get a flyer, they bring it home, and they have a sticker on, and they say, Mom, Dad, I want to join, or Mom, I want to join Cub Scouts. I got this guy came to school and he said I should join. In the flyer, you read it and it says, come to the church basement and come to the back door of the church and go into the basement and find the Cub Scouts. Go to a church you've never been to, find a person you don't know who your kid said, this guy came to school and told me to go to this basement. What I'd stress to you is the safest, most comfortable place for any family to go is the school they already know. That is where they want to sign up. That is where they want to go. The kindergarten mom does not want to go to some place they don't know where it is, they've never been to before, and they don't feel comfortable with. They want to take their son or daughter to the elementary school that they go to and sign up for the activities that they want to participate in. Yes, they'll meet the leaders there. They'll learn that the meetings are at a church that they don't go to, but they'll know you. They'll know when your PAC schedule. They know who the coach is. They'll feel a lot better about it. So I just stress, there's no better place than the elementary school to do your sign up. So yes.
There are some school districts that will not allow you.
I would say in those circumstances, trying to find a neutral area is great. If you, again, I'm not discouraging doing sign up nights at your churches altogether. I mean, I'm just saying that if you don't go to church, if you aren't familiar with the situation and you're a new kid, your kid's new in school, it just reduces the chances that you're going to sign up. I've also seen parking lot signups where they won't let you in the building, but you set up the same sign up format out in the parking lot or in the grounds of the school where they'll let you be outside of school. Let's say there's a janitor issue. They won't let you have a custodian. You have to pay $300 to have someone there for an hour or something like that. There's solutions to every problem. Reach out to your district executive, reach out to me. We'll try to find it and work with you to try to figure out a way to solve the problem. So the question again is, sorry, I didn't even pose it to the group, but if you don't have access to your school, you can't do a sign up night at your school. There's a way around it. We got to figure out a way, or just maybe it's a conversation with the right people at the school to figure out, hey, we're not going to meet here the rest of the year. We just want to do this one time. And I'd be glad to go with you to have that conversation and try to get it worked out so we can make this happen so you can have a sign up night at your school. So I'll give you a synopsis of my Scout Talk. I encourage everyone to do a Scout Talk. This is available on the marketing toolkit as well. But my favorite version of the Scout Talk, and I actually have half my materials in the other room, so I like got them out of my Scout bag. But what I like to do, and I'll do it just like extemporaneously here for a second. I really enjoy having a bag full of scouting activities. So what I'll have is I will have a backpack with me. I'll take my backpack in the room. We'll talk to a bunch of scouts either at lunchtime or from classroom to classroom. I'll have things in there like a flashlight, a set of targets, a Pinewood Derby car, patches. I usually typically have some sort of like arrowheads, or I have like some imprints or like a pelt or something like that, or a feather, or something cool like that, like a nature item. And I also have some sort of like a sports activity, like a little football or like a soccer ball, or like a little, sometimes I bring like a little mini dodgeball. And what I'll do is I'll basically say, if you think you like this, then you might like Cub Scouts. And I'll pull out the different items, and so I'll ask the questions like, hey, how many of you guys really think it'd be fun to go on a hike? And all the kids raise their hand, they get all excited. How many of you think it'd be fun to hit a bullseye, pull out the targets? How many of you think it'd be a blast to race a Pinewood Derby car? Especially when you tell like your first graders you get to race the Pinewood Derby car against fifth graders, they get so excited. They're ecstatic. They're just jazzed about the possibility of joining. Again, we have the stickers. We'll stick all the different kids and try to get them multiple ways, not only just a flyer, but a sticker on them so that they can bring that home and get excited about joining Cub Scouts. The last thing I do, which I've gotten in trouble at some schools for, is I'll usually do some sort of a cheer. I think it's more like a pep rally, so I'll try to do something where I'll have one half of the classroom say Cub and the other half of the classroom say Scouts, and we all like clap at them and get excited. Again, sometimes teachers or principals don't always like it when we do a cheer at different times because the kids get really excited and kind of too worked up. So I've always kind of like asked that question, hey, what is it okay if I do a cheer? Normally if they're going out to recess next, they don't mind, but if they're going back to class right after I do the cheer and they're getting in lines to walk through the hallways, not as exciting, or not as excited about doing it. But I just let you know that doing those talks are really important. The last story I'll tell really quick, because we have a little bit of time for our time limit when we do the walkthrough. The best Scout Talk I've ever witnessed on a personal level, we couldn't get access to a school in Illinois. We couldn't get access to probably a lot of schools. We had 70% of our schools, and when I was an executive in Illinois, did not give us access to do flyers, signs, or talks. So we had to think of creative ways to get access to schools and creative ways to get kids knowledge about joining Scouting. And one of the ways we did that was we found ways to get scouts doing the talks in schools. We found that if a fifth grader went into their principal and said, I'd like to wear my uniform to school tomorrow, can I talk to the kindergartners and first graders at lunchtime? They had absolutely no problem having a fifth grader go in front of the kindergartners and first graders at lunchtime and taking time out of their day to talk about joining Cub Scouts and giving them a sticker or invitation to join. Well, also note, there is nothing cooler to a first grader or kindergartner than a fifth grader. They're the oldest kids, they're the coolest kids, the uniform's cool, they are the coolest person in school when they're talking to a fifth grader. That fifth grader wants them to join the same thing that they're in. There's nothing cooler. So that trumps having me go in and dance around and do cartwheels and cheer and all that stuff like that. That's having your scouts promote your program. There's nothing more powerful. So if you can work that out, if you don't know if this fifth grader or fourth grader is going to be comfortable doing it, then maybe you can have someone come in and like assist them, or maybe there's a teacher that would help them make sure they do a good job. But that's a really cool method too. So I just want to share that with everybody. I'm sorry that the video didn't work out and the audio is not working. Tested it beforehand, it worked. Now it didn't. So, but hey, cross that bridge and we're okay. So we'll highly recommend checking out the video on the Marketing Hub for BSA. Last thing we'll wrap up with is we're going to do a Scout sign up night walkthrough. So Chaz Kennewells, one of our district directors here, is going to be our cameraman. I'm going to stop sharing on my screen, and we're going to have Chaz kind of take over the videoing for the event. So just want to make sure that's good before we do that. So I'm going to mute myself.
Hear me? Ooh, you're still on mute.
Audience participation portion of the meeting. We're gonna come over this way. So if you haven't yet, please ping Chaz's screen. Come on back here. Do a sign up. It's kind of boring, but hey, go. So first things first, when you do your sign up night, one of the things, and you can just kind of gather around here, is you want to make sure you have signage everywhere. So one of the things we got right here, don't worry, we can use this one again. It's dry erase marker. We've got these signs. We've got about 600 of these signs available. We want to make sure every school and entire council has at least 2 signs near it. The signs can also be put up at street corners. They can be put up in church parking lots. We're coming in at church. And they can be put up at community events like festivals that are going on right now. So we need to be everywhere. We're gonna have 10 banners available as well, like 8x3 or 3x8 banners, foot banners that we're gonna have available that we're gonna put up. We're gonna put one right smack dab along the line over there. I know if we put signs, you might ask the question, why don't you guys have signs out in front of the building? If we put them on the other side of the sidewalk, they take the signs down, according to the rules here. But we can't put a banner up in our property, so we're gonna do that. So have signage out. Other thing I'd say, have a scout or two or a parent standing right at the door when people get to the school. There may be people that this is the first time they're going to their own school, because maybe their kids are going bus every day. They're on the bus every day. They go to school. They know where they're going, but they may be walking to the school for the first time. They may not have any clue where they're supposed to go when they get in. So having signs about, hey, this is the next station. We're having a scout say, hey, we're in the cafeteria. It's a really big deal. So come on in, gather around. Everybody come on in.
He's got video going.
Right. Right, sorry about that. I might keep going to technical difficulties. Right, so first station when you walk in, we have one of the inviting numbers there. Here's our QR codes. If you're welcome to come and try it out if you want to. QR code where you sign in. Again, we do have these available. This is the traditional sign-in sheets. Another thing that's available on SKC Scouts /membership is this program guide. I will note the program guide needs to be updated. So if you're working on updating it, I fortunately or unfortunately, I found out I was helping with this process not too long ago. And as part of it, I found numerous things that we've been kind of using year after year after year that has some information that needs to be updated. So we're going to try to update these so they're available online as well. We didn't print those because we don't want to give you bad information to hand out to families. When you're signing, really important, having a really strong greeting and knowing what's going on is really important. So again, if you're welcome to try out the QR code, you're basically what's going to be on the sign-in sheet is everything that's on here. And so you'll be including the school name and unit number. So you'll be able to have that Excel data rather than just having a big sheet of paper where someone said, John, the last name, and their email address is a bunch of scribbles and they have no idea. I mean, I can't read my own handwriting, so that's there's no restriction to the sign-in sheet. So next station, we want to do is a slideshow is not starting yet. But this is an example. Honestly, this is stuff that Jazz and I put together from our desktop days. You're welcome to come and check it out. But like having something that people can touch and feel. All these materials are available on the membership hub as well. So there's a sample pack calendar. There is a pack info sheet, so you can have things like when you're in your meetings, who's the cub master, who's the treasurer, who's the wolf and dead and Ryan cub leader. And also there's information about uniforms and a QR code to visit your pack website or your BScout.org information. This is again a template you can use. I've seen packs that have something as sophisticated as the handbook. Here's the Save the Day flyer that you talked about, with Monster Mash on it, and all the different things we have going on, like Breakfast with Santa and Chicory. Have some of the books out, have some of the materials out that you think would be great. Have some of this is a great place where you can have some hero plates, kind of hanging out, talking to the parents. There's nothing more encouraging to kindergarten parent or a flying parent than to see a fifth grader standing there and like demonstrating what scouting's all about. So you don't have to have it all just be about the parents. We have the mini mags inside of all your own packets as well. So we did not get an invitation to produce or to get Scout Life magazine. So we basically harvested all the past Boys Life magazines we have and have those available. We're still inquiring if National's going to make Scout Life magazines. I think that they probably have other things in their mind at the moment. I don't know if my requests are going to go in. Have patches. The kids are excited about getting patches. The new kids really want patches. They really want to see them. So if you have old patches, you can, even if they take one. I know you want the first patch to be the Bobcat, but having something cool like this is really neat. Just having some sort of display. We have some infographs about scouting in general, about the council if you want those. But I've seen packs that have kind of their own little kind of like infograph as well that has almost like a rack card. They don't have to be as highly produced as this one. This one we spend money on. Also, inside of all of our packets, you're going to get a uniform sheet with a 10% coupon off downstairs in the Scout Shop. Or in our Scout Shops, I believe. Don't quote me on that. And then it has hours, and then also it has all the uniform needs. Again, that's in your packet and information. So you're welcome to check that out when we're done. Having a Pinewood Derby, this is not a traditional ring or out of like a kind of a promotional thing we did, but having an activity for them to do is even better. If you have den chiefs associated with your pack, or if you have maybe some parents that would like to run an activity, again, you want to follow the Guide to Safe Scouting requirements, but doing something creative, fun for the kids to do, an activity while the sound night's going on is really helpful as well. Go to the next station. You're welcome to check this stuff out. Having cool displays is neat too. But next station, again, I didn't ask everyone to come out and give me all their tablets, but ideally you'd have tablets, computers out at the station. I probably should just went to this desk, but you have your computers out, just physical application. You have a fee sheet. This fee sheet has been adjusted to the new national fees and all the fees that for the year it's prorated. This is also going to be inside the packet, the packet you're receiving at the end. And we'll be giving out at roundtables if you're attending online. I guess I didn't notice this either. So at the last station, having some sort of multimedia playing is really nice too. Pictures of the kids, either have a display, a trifold, whatever it might be. And for the online, this one's stuck, but you have a QR code again in the packet that you can use. And you can also produce your own PAX QR code, like I said, at bscout.org. So, and then lastly, our last station, where they might ask some questions. So let's say we're going to find out more about my den leader. I want to learn more about John, who's den leader, and get to know them. You make sure that their application's been filled out. Leader can sign off either in the paper application or online, right there and say, you're a sign up. You're in our pack. You're in our pack. We're going to have our next meeting in 2 weeks from now. Might not even be here at the school. Maybe it's going to be at First Lutheran Church, 2 blocks from here on Tuesday night. You're going to meet your den leader again. We're going to learn more about popcorn sales. We're going to learn more about all the fun things we're going to do throughout the year. We are so excited to have you be part of the pack. It's going to be awesome to have you in full year scouting with you guys. Other things that we have here. This is more for your reference. This is available on the membership. SKC Scouts Access membership. This is an ACH form. So if your pack says, hey, we want to figure out we want to figure out how to pay it for everybody at once, and we don't want to like kind of do a piecemeal. There's packs that do that say, hey, we're just going to pay everybody pay us. We're going to cut one check to make sure we have everything straight away. You can do that with an ACH form where you don't actually have to check. You just kind of do an ACH deposit right into from your account to our account, so you can pay national dues and everybody gets registered. And the last thing is this is also on that same / membership page, SKC Scout Specials membership. This is a form for a scholarship and campership. want to stress, you do not want to turn any scouts away. You never want to have a family say, they get to the end of the night and they say, I don't know how we're going to pay. I put this purposely at this table, not necessarily at that table. We want them to sign up still and work through that process. If you're at that table and you're trying to figure out how to get them, if there's like, they're kind of, we don't want to fill it out tonight, have them go talk to the club master, have them go talk to your treasurer from the back, figure out a way to get them to sign up. Don't let them get turned away because they don't know if they can pay for it. If you haven't yet, I'd also encourage maybe your pack considers. I know my pack did this when I was a club master with my son. We did a structure where we basically made a commitment where we'll pay for the dues, you commit to pay popcorn. We'll pay for your membership fee initially if you commit to pay popcorn, sell a certain amount of popcorn. Because we didn't want to have kids and families get turned away. So we did get burned a few times, but there was a lot of times the kids sold a bunch of popcorn and only made up no kids being paid. So, but scholarships are available. Please consider having these available. You do typically have to fill out. Don't quote me on this one. I'm pretty sure. Chaz, tell me if it's different. I think if you do the scholarship form, you do have to fill out a paper application. Because if you do the online application, you kind of have to pay at the time. So
Yes,
if
that's
you're going
correct.
to do a scholarship, please have to fill out a paper application attached. Questions on the 4-station sign-up model or in general, anything we talked about? Great. Cool. That is spectacular. I want to say thank you to everybody. We're gonna take a few minutes. If you know when you're gonna sign up, when you're doing your sign up night, you can do this. You can do the flyer sign up information right now. You can sign up for flyers, Boy Talk, Scout Talks, right at the moment. So as soon as you find out, please go to the form we had about doing your flyers and get that filled out so we can produce your flyers right away. Also, if you have any questions or concerns with Drive-Thru Online, you can feel free to, again, if you don't know how to get to that form where you fill out the flyers, we'll put it on the chat. I'll add it as a chat if you hang out for a little bit. Otherwise, we're going to spend some time distributing all of our materials downstairs to all the people that were attending today. You didn't get, obviously, if you're online, you didn't get the materials yet, you can attend roundtable and collect your materials there, or you can coordinate with your local executive and get your materials from them directly. We want to make sure you guys have signs to get the word out and make sure you have everything you need to be successful. So with that, I just want to say thanks for everybody for attending. Appreciate all you do. Let's grow Cub Scouts.